We are indeed with a local superstar, Ray Robson, after an incredible victory. Ray, first of all, congratulations. Welcome to the studio. How does it feel to be back here in St. Louis playing over the board chess?
Yeah, thanks. It feels good to be playing again. Also, of course, good to get a win. I mean, Alex is probably my hardest ever opponent considering rating. I think I'm usually slightly higher rated, but I mean, he's beaten me several times, and I think I maybe beat him once in our recent games when we had like many draws, which was a good accomplishment for me because before that I was losing a lot of games.
And yesterday also was a razor-sharp battle against Hans Niemann. Tell us a little bit about that as well.
Yeah, that was a very interesting game. I mean, Hans, well, we played a very theoretical line, which I guess was expected because Hans seems to be very well prepared and in general. So we played a line where we were actually following a game between Abdusatsorov, the world rapid champion, and Anish Giri. And I think I deviated from that game with the move g5. We both knew about this game. I just couldn't remember during the game whether Anish played knight d7 first or whether g5 was played first. So I just kind of thought on my own, and I thought g5 might not be what he played, but it should be a reasonable move anyway. And I think...
How did you feel about the tactical battle that ensued towards the time control?
Yeah, I mean, I missed one move of his queen a2, which even though objectively I should still be okay after that, it kind of changed the balance of the game. And then after that, I was struggling because I was lower on the clock and there was a lot of pressure in my position. And I played the move c5, which weakened d6, which was a big mistake. And after that, yeah, I felt like he should be winning there. But he missed his chances. He should have been a little bit more decisive there. And yeah, after the time control, actually, I was the one who had chances and actually had a few wins. They weren't super obvious, but in general, it was very unpleasant to play his position. So yeah, it was a little bit disappointing that I couldn't win from that point. But on the other hand, it was good that I didn't lose the game, so I guess the draw was kind of a fair result.
Well, yesterday is history. Today was a much smoother game. Take us through that.
Yeah, so we got a little bit of an unusual line. I mean, he played one of the main lines with g6 and d5, and the line I played against it with h3, c5 is known, but normally white just captures on d5 immediately. But this is an interesting way to play because you stop bishop g4, and the idea is you want to put the bishop on b5, and you always have the idea to take the knight off on c6, and you control e5 very well. And yeah, it seemed like Alex didn't really know this line too well, although the way he reacted was logical. So castles, bishop b5, knight e4, castles. And I think this is still the main line, and I believe queen a5 is supposed to be the best move here, most likely. But he took and he played queen c7, so I wasn't really super familiar with these positions. I just assumed white should be somewhat better, but I wasn't sure how because black is obviously aiming to play b6 and break up my pawn on c5. And after that, structurally, it feels like black's completely fine. At least that's how it felt to me. So I figured I should try to at least develop a tempo. So rook e1, bishop g5 made sense, queen d2. b6, all very logical. And yeah, now bishop h6 was interesting. Basically, I was trying to scare him, make him afraid that I'm exchanging dark square bishops is bad for him, and try to make him play bishop f6 or bishop h8. And I thought in either square, it's like a slight improvement for me compared to having his bishop on g7, which is kind of funny. So he went bishop h8, and then, yeah, the whole time I'd been planning to play bishop f4 at some point, but here I realized maybe it makes sense to just give up on the idea of maintaining that sort of pressure and switch to the king side. So I took and played h4, and suddenly h5 is coming. It's nice that I have this bishop on h6 versus the bishop on h8. Suddenly his king feels a little bit shaky, and I think here is where he probably started to feel some pressure. And yeah, for the rest of the game, I felt like I was definitely the one putting pressure on him. I wasn't sure about the objective evaluation. I thought I had some advantage, but I think his decisive mistake was definitely queen a8.
We were shocked about that move.
Yeah, I also, like I saw he had a few minutes before he had kind of reached for the queen, so I thought, okay, maybe he wants to play queen a7.
Yeah.
But I thought that was also a bad move because queen a7, maybe just queen e2. And if rook takes a2, I have rook takes e7. It's a very nice mate. If he takes e2, I take on e8, rook takes e8, rook takes e8, king g7, and I have h6, king f6, and mate with the bishop somewhere. So, yeah, and in general, if he's losing e7, I thought my position is probably close to decisive. So I didn't understand. I assumed he realized that, and then he was going to make a different move, but then he played queen a8, which was like even more surprising. Yeah.
Did you talk to him after the game? Did he say what he missed?
It seemed like, I don't know, to me I evaluated that he just can't give up e7. He did obviously miscalculate something, so after rook e7, bishop f6, I was pretty sure the only reason he could have gone for this is because he thought after, let's say, rook e1, that he could at least take back on a2, which he actually can't because I can do the same trick with queen a2, rook e8, and h6 mate. So he did blunder this, he told me after the game. So I could have just gone rook e1 and my position should be close to winning. But then I thought queen e3 might be objectively like much stronger,
much
even
more decisive, yeah.
So I thought about it for a good while, and then I went for it. I mean, just in general principles, like the dark square weaknesses in black's position, me having this bishop and my king is super safe. Like it has to be winning, but of course I tried to calculate some lines. So he played f6, which I actually didn't see at all. Probably the best practical defense. I think what I did looked very logical. I stopped him from going to f8 with his queen, so he's really tied down. b5, I believe he played. Knight e5, queen e8. Yeah, and here I spent a lot of time because I completely hallucinated something. I thought he actually can't move like either his rook or his queen really anywhere, so I can kind of just do whatever I want. I can play d5, d6, d7. And suddenly I realized if d5 he actually has one move, which is queen e7. So I couldn't find the forced win there, and I got pretty low on time. But it felt like I was still probably in control with what I did, but I wasn't completely sure.
Well, it seemed clean enough to us, at least from the commentator's booth, that it was just fully control from start to finish. After d6, it's just game over.
D6 was after d6 it was definitely over. You can't take because queen b7, and otherwise the knight comes to e7. He's just getting mated, so after this it was over.
Just came down to the simple principle of king safety, and definitely your king was much safer than his. Ray, congratulations, a very good start for you, and good luck in the rest of your games.
Thanks.
A nice start there with 1.5